And welcome back to Hannity. We're at Caesar's Palace. We're in Vegas on the Strip with a group of millennial voters with Eric Trump, Laura Trump, and Donald Trump Jr. We go to our microphone. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Sean?
I'm good, thank you. What's your name?
Awesome. Samantha Correa. I am from the thriving metropolis of Lodi, California.
Lodi, California.
Yes.
Wow.
Stuck in Lodi.
Yes.
Yes, the song's about it. Alrighty. Well, my question today is, as a millennial with a passion for agriculture and having grown up in the industry, hard work and diligence are two things that have been instilled in me from a very young age. And having come from a background like that, it's so frustrating to see the lack of that and just this overwhelming amount of that, entitlement amongst other young people. So basically, I think that this lack of intellectual rigor and desire to work has been encouraged by the left. So what is your father's plan to kind of combat that, whether it be through academia or other methods, and how do you plan to assist him with that?
That's a great question, Samantha.
Well, listen, I think agriculture is awesome, and I think that's a big foundation of this country. And I think we have to also encourage people to take up those kind of jobs. Whether it's trade skills, where you don't have to go to college and rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars in student debt, that may not be for everyone. I think we have to recognize that, because there's guys that I know that go get vocational training and get trade jobs, and you know what? They have probably much higher paying salaries than they would if they got their underwater basket weaving degree for 5 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Underwater basket weaving degree?
But you've seen some of the degrees. There's some pretty remarkable things out there right now. So people, you got to figure out what's right for you. I think when we talk about student debt, we talk about these things. Know before you go. Know what you're buying, right? Do your due diligence, because people go into college and say, well, I'm going to go into college. Well, they don't realize that, hey, you're going to make X going out, and you're going to have this much debt, and this much is going to be going to pay that off forever. So we have a whole plan to combat that, but people have to know what they're getting into, because they're not being told that.
You want to hear big government? I went out to the San Joaquin Valley, remember? I was there. They wouldn't let the farmers have water because they wanted to protect the Delta smelt a little fish. And meanwhile, the crops all went away. Yeah. Because of bad government policy. Yeah. Laura, what's your answer to that?
Well, I think that there are a lot of people in this country that haven't had the experience of having a job. And once you know how great it feels and the pride you have from working, I think it just encourages you to further yourself and further your career. And I think for a lot of people, they really haven't had the opportunity to have jobs. 95 million people out of the workforce. A lot of those people have just never had a job. Once you have one and you see how great it feels to work and to make a living, I think that's encouragement enough.
When I was young, I was 8 years old delivering papers, 12 years old washing dishes by hand, and I loved it. And 55%, and I go to inner cities, you can't get a summer job. Now, if I didn't have a summer job, I would have been hanging out with all my stupid friends and getting in a lot of trouble. So those opportunities are on top of the 95 million that we don't even, count those numbers. All right, sir, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Nick Reikus. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Nick.
And this one's a little bit of a personal question. What is the greatest piece of advice you have given your father throughout his campaign, and what is the best advice he has given you?
Great question, Eric.
Well, listen, certainly the best advice he's ever given me is, you've got to pursue what you love. If you love it, you're going to work hard. You're going to think about it every night. You're going to dream about it before you go to bed. You're going to love it. You're going to work harder at it. You're going to put your life and soul into it, and therefore you're going to be successful at it. There's a lot of incredibly smart people. They go into an industry that they don't love, that they're not passionate about, right? They take the 4-hour lunch break. They leave early. They come in late, and they're just never that good at it. They never thrive at it. And honestly, one of the reasons my father is as good as he is at real estate is he's put his mind to it his entire life. He loves it, and he breathes it, and he lives it, and he works 24/7, and he doesn't take vacations, and he's driven. It's really what gets him up in the morning. You have to do what you love. You just have to do what you love.
He has the energy of 10 people. Seriously.
Amazing.
But it's also when your work is your passion, is your hobby, it's not work.
It's not work.
Right? It's what he would want to do if he wasn't getting paid to do it.
Do we have any more? Hi.
Hi, my name's Robert. Thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Hey, Robert, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Thanks for being here.
I, like many people my age, will soon be moving out of the house, packing up to go move to one of many major cities in the United States. One disturbing aspect of this consideration is the rise of domestic terror in the United States, as seen in San Bernardino and Orlando. My question is, what will the Trump administration do to combat radical Islamic terror at home in our cities? Thank you very much.
Well, listen, it starts with extreme vetting, right? My father's talked about it. It's kind of interesting. Don and I are both a product of immigration, but it's legal immigration. He's been very clear. Immigration is a good thing, but we need to know who's coming into our country. And when you talk to Hillary, who wants to let 650,000 Syrian refugees into our country, of which the CIA said that there's going to be radical terror among them, of which the head of the FBI said that ISIS is going to be among them. ISIS themselves has admitted that they're going to be part of that, of those refugees. You have to know who's in this country. The second thing,
by the way, Hillary in WikiLeaks was exposed. She realized that they would commit acts of terror. How duplicitous is that?
But the fact that they're okay with that is what's ridiculous, Sean. The fact that we've allowed PC culture to take over common sense is a little bit ridiculous. So, first and foremost, to this question, we have to recognize that there's actually a problem.
Sure.
We have to call it out by name.
Okay,
and then we can attack it. And that's, candidly, that's the job. That's the job of the President of the United States.
He has to
look
You're right.
look and towards Americans. Once we get our own problems sorted out, and we have plenty of them, then we can worry about the rest of the world. But the fact that I turn on the TV today and we're more worried about the feelings of people in countries that can't stand us, can't stand our values, if they could push a button, they'd wipe us off the face of the earth. They're more worried about their feelings than we are about the safety and well-being of our kids and loved ones. That's disgusting. That's how far we've come.
Thank you for your question.